I'm Sister Annette Diebold, RSM, Religious Sister of Mercy, and I've been so for over 60 years. Can't believe it. But, and part of that time, I was a teacher, and I got my education, my first degree from Misericordia. It was an elementary education degree. And so I was teaching at various schools in Pennsylvania and in New York, where my hometown is. I'm from Babylon, Long Island, and that's where I did a lot of my teaching. I grew up in Babylon, Long Island, New York, which is a kind of resort town. It was a town that had a lot of homes in it, but not developed to that extent. But we lived right near the bay, the Great South Bay of Long Island, two blocks away from us on either side of the road were boat places where they could keep their boats. And a lot of people used to go out fishing on these cruiser boats. I went to a little Catholic school in Babylon, St. Joseph's grade school. And the grade school was taught by the Sisters of Mercy. And that's how I got to know them through those years that I was so grades 1 to 8, I was there. So I had many connections with them. But then as I got a little older, I went to public high school. I chose not to go to Catholic high school. I went to public high school because my neighbor went there, and she was one of my best friends. So I went there. However, the sisters always had trips to come up to Dallas and bring these young girls up in case they were interested in becoming Sisters of Mercy. So I made several of those trips. I liked it. I enjoyed it very much. But I never was expecting to enter the community. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a secretary in New York City. And I was going to Catherine Gibbs School. And that was my plan until the second half of my senior year. And believe it or not, I went to see a movie with my mother, and it was The Nun Story with Audrey Hepburn. And when I came out of that movie, I said to my mother, "Mother, I don't understand why she left. I really don't." But that was my own thinking. But then I started really seriously thinking about, do I want to do this? So as a result of that, I said to my parents, this is what I want to do. They kind of were not sure, but they said, well, okay, so if this is what you want to do, then we'll let you go. So I had to make all those arrangements, and I had some sisters that I was very close to. And so I made those arrangements. And so after graduation, at 17, I entered the Sisters of Mercy. Dr. Joseph Fink was the president. And this is after I've been there a couple of years now. And it was a Friday afternoon. And I should know Dave Payne by now. However, he had a meeting with the president, and he came down and he said, "Oh, Annette," he said, "oh, you won't believe this. Joe Fink just fired me." I said, "He did?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm just so distressed." I said, "I can't believe it." So he goes in and he closes his door. I, in my ire, leave my office, which is down near the chapel, head down the hallway to the president's office. One of our staff came, or the admission staff came, and they said, "What is it?" I said, "I'm going down to Dr. Fink. He can't do this to Dave. He can't do it." And they went into Dave and told him, I'm at Dr. Fink's door, and Dave Payne from his office yells out, "Annette, I was only joking." And I came back and I said, "Don't you ever do that to me again. You scared me." And I was so embarrassed. But thanks be to God, he got to me before I got to Dr. Fink, because I was like, "You little stinker, you got me again." When I first started in the admissions office, and things started to expand, we needed to open up some other areas. One of the things that happened, one of the big changes, was the library. And that had been there since the building was built, and it was a beautiful area. But at that time, we needed to expand the library, and things changed too as computers were getting more. Students were using them more so than the library. But the Vivinos contributed a large portion of money towards the building of what was called the Vivino Library at that time. And it was a beautiful building, and it was a multi-purpose building. There were some rooms for conferences, and there was you could do Zooms and whatever in those buildings. But it also housed our book selection and the archives for Misericordia. And then they changed that second floor into, they have the founder's room on second floor. That's a beautiful room. And then other rooms that are used there for smaller conference rooms and so on. And they actually, in the renovation, had taken out some of the stained glass windows. And they were stored in a little cubbyhole, which I believe one of the people in institutional advancement found in that cubbyhole. They were looking and said, "What's in here?" And they found them. So they were actually preserved and saved, thank God. They weren't destroyed. So they did find those, and they eventually became part of the archives collection. The other things that I remember, there were so many things happened. Dormitories got built in that time period, and it just seems like it just blossomed out so quickly. There were years though at Misericordia when things were not so good. Enrollment was down, and I remember the president asking everyone if they would take a price freeze. And everyone said yes. That was from the president all the way down to the staff in wherever they were, maintenance, and even dietary. Everything was frozen for a couple of years. And I remember when it was Dr. Fink, and I remember him when he finally said, "We're in the black, we're okay." And he was so proud of that, and we were too, because I was so proud of the fact that there were not, I'm sure everybody, it hurt them, but they did it because of the love that they had for that school and the investment that they made of their lives to that institution. And I never forgot that. I don't want us to lose the personalization that we had with each member of the Misericordia family, and we wanted to keep it a family. You know, as you get bigger, you become less personal. So many schools know their students by their ID number, by their social security number, by their number in where they are in their class. But Misericordia knows its people by the person, by themselves, by their whole being, what they are, who they are, and maybe how they've changed, whether it's faculty, students, staff. But we will lose that if we don't stay within the boundaries of what Misericordia was founded as, and the mission of the college, and the mission of the Sisters of Mercy. So I want to say that I hope that when we are interviewing anyone for a position there at the school, no matter what it is, that we look past just their credentials and ask them some questions about themselves that they may not know we're going to ask them. Now, not real personal, but things that they do outside of the school that they work at. And get to know them as a whole person. And make a decision based on that. Don't make a decision just based on one thing that you're looking for. And I think if we do that, we will get a group of people that will, if you want to say, buy into the school, that will be part of what Misericordia was designed to be. The mercy, service, justice, and hospitality university that Catherine McCauley would have been proud to say, these are my family. I just wanted to say that I spent 32 years at Misericordia. I didn't expect to spend that many years there. But when I started, I felt a wonderful spirit in the institution. The building that I was in had wonderful staff, secretaries, faculty that used to come down and visit the president. And we felt like a real family. And that heart of mercy is so important because that's why we were founded. We were founded to help girls at that time who needed an education. And so the heart of mercy was extended to them into the local community so that they would have a foundation for their own life and be that valiant woman that would be able to take care of themselves and a family, or go on and do great things. And we've had so many men and women now who have gone on to do great things in the name of mercy wherever they are in the world, because they've gone to many countries and many places and been in service and done great things. And many who have had families and have had their children come to Misericordia, and they came because they remembered that life was there, love was there, and mercy was there for them. And they want to pass it on. And I hope that we will continue to do that. Pass on that mercy wherever we are.